What's going on, everyone? It's Marcellus back with another video. Today, we're just going to be talking about baby Doge and something that could actually cause baby Doge to pump, as well as the whole entire crypto market. So, we're going to talk about this. Definitely hit that like button and subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Leave a comment in the comment section. And also, if you want a percentage off for Mexi Global trading fees, definitely check out that Mexi Global link inside the description. Let's get straight to it, though. So, first, we're going to go over what we have to talk about today about Baby Doge, and then we're going to actually go over the Baby Doge technicals. So first, we're going to talk about what's going to be affecting Baby Doge as well as the whole overall crypto market. And that is the CPI report that's about to be released tomorrow, September 13th. It's the 12th right now. So right here, it says on September 13th at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics will release the Consumer Price Index. So the CPI report is going to be released for the month of August. This is pretty much going to show where inflation is sitting. If inflation is still high and ramping up, then they're going to raise interest rates, and then boom, now we're going to have another crash in the market. And pretty much if the CPI is down low, we actually have a lower percentage of inflation, then they might not do it, but they might still do it just to get ahead of things. So I don't know. This could go either way right now, but let's keep reading this. So over here it says this will be among the more important data releases in September for financial markets. That's definitely true. It's going to matter for every single thing financially. And then over here, inflation is very closely watched. Currently, not only has inflation prompted a much higher interest rates, but Fed Chair Jerome Powell made clear in an August speech that the Fed is unlikely to ease up on rate hikes until they are very confident that the U.S. inflation is well under control. So even if we do have a lower percentage, then they're probably still gonna hike the interest rates up. That's pretty much what they're saying here. So hopefully they don't, but if they do, then we're definitely gonna end up seeing another interest rate hike if our inflation is still up. And even if our inflation went down, then they're still gonna probably do the same thing, because it did peak out at 9% inflation rate and then went down to like 8.5%. So yeah, it was like 9% inside of June and then 8.5% in August. But yeah, and now we're probably gonna see maybe 8%, but still gonna have to get those interest rates hiked up because they just want to get ahead of this and they're being aggressive with it. But anyways, it says whatever the upcoming CPI report says, it remains likely that the Fed will raise interest rates around 50 to 75 basis point hikes at their next meeting. But the data may inform the Fed's medium-term thinking as we look to the Fed meetings later this year and early in 2023. So yeah, I think there's probably going to be a huge drop in the crypto market, in the whole overall markets, or there could be a huge pump. It just depends on how everything's doing. And if you kind of look at everything that they're breaking down here, we did improve since July with our inflation. However, they're saying over here, however, there were still some concerns in the data. Obviously, despite one good month, the year-on-year trend still has annual inflation at 8.5%. And the cost of housing and food is continuing to rise. So together, food and housing, given their high weight in the CPI series, contribute almost half of the U.S. inflation numbers. So they will again be closely watched with the September's CPI release covering this month of August. So they're saying over here with food, it's risen about 1% each month inside 2022. That's actually a lot. And then over here, looking at recent months of CPI, it's hard to say that food price inflation has slowed at all. That's what they're saying here. Housing is up, and they're saying everything is. I don't even know where the percentage is actually here. They're not really saying percentage for housing, but yeah, housing is up for the inflation. All this other stuff, and then the August CPI data that they're talking about. The CPI data for the month of August may show another subdued month-on-month inflation number similar to July. So that's because gasoline prices have fallen sharply for the month of August. That's definitely true. Gas is like 3.15 now, something like that. But yeah, gas prices are also still going down. So hopefully when we actually get the CPI data tomorrow, hopefully we can have a nice pump coming off of it. But they're still going to raise the interest rates. So whenever it comes time to raise the interest rates, and they're actually having the meeting on the 20th and 21st of September, the actual meeting. So they're releasing the CPI data tomorrow. And then on the 20th and the 21st, they're going to have this meeting. And that's probably where they're going to end up raising the interest rates during that meeting. So that's why I said this whole week is going to be crazy, because tomorrow people could be anticipating a pump. So they could just throw their money in. And when it gets up to the 20th and 21st, they could be selling out. And on top of that, we have the Ethereum merge as well on the 15th of September. So September is a really big time for crypto. It's a really big time for global financial markets. It's a really big time everywhere for anyone dealing with finances. But we're going to talk about some other stuff here. We're also going to mention Lunar Classic just very briefly, but we're going to talk about Baby Doge first. So as you can see, Baby Doge is still, below this 1250 resistance, or the 1250 support that we had here. And honestly, this 1250 support, I'm really not worried about it. It was our support. That's why I said support, because it was our support back here. But now it's really just our resistance. Our support becomes our resistance. But as you can see here, we are below this 1250 resistance. But the most important thing about this is this red area here. So the red area shows supply and demand of less demand. But notice how we're kind of breaking past that. We're kind of setting our own standards here and breaking past these indicators. This could mean that we're probably about to go up here to this next red bar, which is the next supply and demand area. And that is around 1363. We have more demand in that area there. So it's going to be like minor resistance. And then we have a very lightly shaded red area that's like 1425. And then our immediate resistance all the way up here at about 1550. So we have all these different levels here, and 1250 is definitely a very important level there. So if we were to just go ahead and bring the Fibonacci just down a little bit, and then now you can see where it is actually at for the 1250. So it's really good to look at it from different perspectives. I know I usually don't show it from different perspectives like that, but if you think about it, there was some support here at 1500, and I actually been mentioning that in a lot of previous videos, because if you notice here, the second that we passed 1500, we actually started to pump, and then you can actually see the same thing over here, start to get past 1500, and then we start to go down. So 1500 does seem significant, but right now 1250 is what we have to worry about for our immediate resistance. We're just kind of like in and out of it right now. But that's pretty much all for Baby Doge right now. I know Baby Doge isn't doing much movements right now, but this is still good for what we have. Now, moving on to the 15-minute chart. Actually, I was going to show our Bitcoin, but first I want to show the 15M chart. So it does show here that we just very briefly broke down below that 1250 support here. So just very briefly, I don't know how long it's going to stay down there for, but with the CPI data coming for tomorrow, a lot of stuff is going to be going crazy. So we're just going to have to sit back and wait for that. But anyways, over here to Bitcoin now. So as you can see here with Bitcoin, we are 60% bearish here, as you can see, for the 24-hour market control. And then you can also see Bitcoin is going into this high activity area here, and thinking that tomorrow the CPI data is going to be released. You can definitely see why it's going to be a lot of high activity, because there's a lot of speculation going on for tomorrow and leading up to the 20th and 21st. A lot of speculation. Now, something you really want to look at here, though, low activity expected. So if we were to drop from here and go down from 22.1K down to about 21.6K, then we're going to have low activity, and we're probably going to see it slowly sell off. Or we can continue to rise until this high activity area and then have a huge major rise to 28K, or really 26K, 27K, somewhere around there, 26 to 28K. That's where our next major resistance is. So 26.7K and then about 28.2K up here. So yeah, we have major resistance up there, but this high activity that's expected in Bitcoin could easily lead us all the way up here. I'm not saying that it will do that, but I'm just saying that it could do it. And this was an overbought area that we just now came off of. This whole area was overbought from down here at the 7th of September all the way up here to about the 13th of September. And yeah, that was a way overbought area. But we could have another major pump and become a whole new overbought area if we see Bitcoin hitting this high activity area and then continuing up to 27 or 28K. So we could see that soon. Now, as for the 15M chart here with Bitcoin, we're seeing lots of activity here. So if we were to pull back here to this support, it'd probably immediately break that 21.8K if we were to like pull back that far. But look, we have high activity right down here, and that's around 21.2K. So this high activity is high activity for institutional investors in dark pools. But something you also want to watch out for on Bitcoin is the oscillator. So the oscillator is pretty much talking about the bullish area that we have here. Is like a bullish formation of the oscillator. So right now you're seeing the red wave down here, which is the selling wave, and now you see that bull indication there. So that bull indication is pretty much saying that after we have this selling, we're probably going to become bullish inside of Bitcoin. So that is, I would say that could be true, because look down here, you see that we have this green bar here, that's supply and demand, or more demand whenever we see the green shaded areas with these indicators. So it shows 21.8K. We have some more demand there. So if we do sell out a little bit more, that selling is probably going to end up stopping there. And that's probably what's going to trigger the buying and turning this bullish, like the oscillator is saying. So I think a pullback is imminent. We're probably going to see that pullback coming soon for Bitcoin, but it's going to be followed by a nice pump either there or there, where we have the high activity. Either one of those areas, we will have lots of activity. Even if we were to pull back down here, we still have more activity. You see there's lots of bullish areas down here for Bitcoin. So yeah, everything's kind of looking bullish, but it could all be turned around in a second tomorrow. Like literally with the CPI data, it could all be turned around in a second. The 15th, whenever the Ethereum merge comes out, if it's a letdown, then it could all, turn around in a second. If we go over to the September 20th area, September 21st for the actual Fed meeting, then it could all turn around back down again. And then on top of that, if Luna Classic doesn't, continue to pump, if it doesn't pump when we hit this high activity area, if we don't get more volume going into Luna Classic, then we're definitely going to see this go down as well. So we got to be careful here. We got to be diligent. A lot of people say buy, hold, never sell, but I think it just all depends on really what you want to do. So high activity areas, typically you're going to see some buying coming in from there. So if we get major buying, but then go back down to this one and then get major buying, just imagine if you waited for it to hit this area here, you bought at the high activity area, and then you ended up selling around this area here, and then you ended up buying again when it dropped here, and then selling it again. That would be a successful trade, because now you just made profit on this jump here and this rise from here into this rise. So there's a lot of different ways to make profit even inside a bear market. It's just all in how you want to play these type of things, and it really helps whenever you're using indicators, or just whenever you know your technical analysis. But if you really don't know what to do with that, then buying and holding would be the best strategy. And that'll probably be the best strategy for anyone, because nobody can time the markets. I can't time the market. You can't time the market. Nobody can time the market. It's absolutely impossible. But yeah, anyways, this is pretty much all I got for you all today. So yeah, definitely hit that like button and subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. As always, I'll be back with another video.